Welcome to Speak English for You.
Hello and welcome back to Speak English for You. I'm your host.
And I'm your resident language expert, and I am really excited to be here with you today.
Same here. So today we're jumping into a brand new deep dive. And the topic of today's episode is, well, it's something I think every single listener has experienced. We're talking about language paralysis.
Oh, yeah, the absolute dread.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So picture this. You've spent hundreds of hours staring at screens.
Yeah.
You have thousands of vocabulary words perfectly memorized on those little digital flashcards.
Right.
You know, the grammar rules inside and out. But the second a native speaker looks you in the eye and just says, hello, your brain entirely wipes its hard drive.
It just goes completely blank.
Blank. So the words stay trapped in your throat, your palms get sweaty,
Yeah.
and you just sort of stare back in this state of rigid panic.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We really have. So today, our mission for this deep dive is to unpack exactly why that happens. We are looking at a really fascinating guide that was originally aimed at English learners, but it actually contains these profound psychological insights into how we handle fear and vulnerability.
It does. It really digs into the neuroscience of it all, which I love.
Right. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to completely dismantle that fear, even if your pronunciation is, far from perfect.
Which is such a relief, honestly, because I think the fundamental premise we need to start with is that this sudden inability to speak, it isn't a cognitive failure.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, your memory hasn't suddenly degraded. You haven't actually forgotten the vocabulary. It is an acute emotional failure.
An emotional failure.
Yeah. The source text we're analyzing today identifies fear as the primary culprit here, not a lack of linguistic knowledge.
Which is such a fascinating paradigm shift. Because, we are so conditioned to treat language learning as this purely academic pursuit.
Right, like a math test.
Exactly, like you're solving an algebraic equation. But the source material frames it almost like this extreme psychological stressor.
Totally.
It's like I was reading this and thinking about severe stage fright. Like an actor who has memorized all their lines perfectly in the dressing room.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. But then the second the spotlight hits them on stage, they forget absolutely everything.
Because that spotlight feels incredibly hot. When that native speaker looks at you, your brain isn't processing a linguistic puzzle. It is literally processing a survival threat.
Wait, really? Like a literal survival threat?
Yes, literally. It triggers a fight or flight response. When you're standing in front of someone and you're highly vulnerable, trying to use this tool you haven't mastered yet, your amygdala, which is the fear center of the brain, it interprets that vulnerability as actual physical danger.
Wow.
It pulls the fire alarm, and that instantly floods your nervous system with cortisol and adrenaline.
So your body is reacting as if you're being chased by a bear.
Pretty much. And
Right.
here's the crucial neurobiological mechanic. That cortisol flood physically inhibits your prefrontal cortex, specifically this part called Broca's area, which handles language production.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So the vocabulary is still in your brain somewhere.
Oh, it's there. But the chemical flood has effectively burned down the bridge you need to go retrieve it.
That is wild. So, okay, the immediate question is, what triggers that amygdala hijack in the first place? Why does our brain think a conversation is a bear attack?
Well, the text points directly to the fear of social judgment.
Right.
We have this intense, burning conviction that the other person is hyper-analyzing every single syllable we say, just, waiting to expose us as stupid.
Yeah, psychologists actually call this the spotlight effect, right?
Exactly. It's a cognitive bias where we just dramatically overestimate how much other people notice our actions or our appearance, or in this case, our grammatical errors.
Because we are agonizing over our own preposition usage internally, we just project that onto the listener. We think they're...
Holding a mental red pen.
Yes, grading our performance in real time.
But the source provides this fantastic reality check against that cognitive bias. It states so plainly that native speakers genuinely do not care about your mistakes.
Not at all.
They are simply trying to decode your meaning.
Yeah, let's run a quick thought experiment for you, the listener. Just imagine someone approaching you on the street in your home city.
Okay.
And they're clearly nervous, and they're trying to ask you for directions in your native language.
Right.
They completely butcher the verb tense, they use the wrong noun gender, their accent is super thick. Would you secretly judge their intelligence or laugh at them?
No, of course not. You'd appreciate the effort.
Exactly. You don't even register the grammatical errors as failures. You're just trying to help them find the train station or whatever.
Because human communication evolved for cooperation. Your brain is scanning their broken sentences for intent, actively filling in the gaps for them.
So the big takeaway here is that the audience you are so terrified of is a total illusion. The only person actually judging you is yourself.
You're fighting a phantom critic inside your own head.
Oh, okay, so that's a huge realization. But once we realize that judgment is mostly in our own heads, how do we begin to silence that internal critic? Because just knowing this doesn't stop the cortisol flood.
No, it doesn't. Insight alone won't rewrite those neurological pathways. Action does.
Right. So let's talk strategy. The first technique from the sources is, well, it's building muscle memory in secret.
Yes, the safe spaces.
The guide says you need to speak to yourself first, completely alone, before you ever face another person.
It specifically suggests places like your room, in your car during a commute, or even in the shower.
Okay, I have to push back on this a little bit.
Go for it.
Because when I read this section, I thought, wait a minute. If the fear is entirely based on being around other people, how does talking to your shampoo bottle in an empty bathroom actually help? You aren't facing the trigger.
That is a really logical question, but it overlooks cognitive load theory and the actual biomechanics of speech.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Speaking a new language isn't just a mental exercise. It's not just translating words in your head. It is a highly complex physical motor skill.
Physical, like literally moving your mouth.
Exactly. You are demanding that your facial muscles, your jaw, your tongue, your vocal cords all execute these specific sequences they have never performed before.
Oh, wow. I never really thought about it as a physical workout.
It really is. So
Right.
if you are simultaneously trying to remember the vocabulary, figure out the sentence structure, coordinate your mouth to make a weird new vowel sound, and manage the psychological terror of social judgment,
Your system just crashes.
it overflows. So practicing alone in the shower isolates the variables. It allows you to automate the physical movements of speech without any social anxiety interfering.
So you're building physical muscle memory.
Right. The goal is to make massive mistakes alone and literally laugh at yourself in private. Once your mouth knows the physical mechanics, the only variable left to conquer is confidence.
That makes total sense. So you're comfortable talking in your car, your tongue knows what to do. How do you step out into the real world without getting instantly overwhelmed?
This is where technique 2 comes in. Micro exposures and the power of small wins.
Yeah, because the source strongly warns against trying to do too much too soon.
Oh, definitely.
It says, do not try to have a 30-minute conversation on your first day. That is way too big. And if you fail at it, you're just going to feel worse and reinforce the fear.
It's like going to the gym.
Yes, the gym analogy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't try to lift 300 pounds on your very first day, right?
You'd crush yourself.
You get injured and never go back.
Yeah.
You have to start with the lightest weights to avoid injury and just build the habit.
So the guide walks through this highly scaled step-by-step process. Day 1, you literally just say hello to someone in English. That's it.
Just hello, and then you can run away.
Just hello and walk away. Then day 2, you say, hello, how are you?
Okay, building up slowly.
Day 3,
Yeah.
you add, I am fine, thank you.
It seems almost too simple, but there's a psychological reward loop happening here, isn't there?
Absolutely. Every time you have one of these tiny successes, it tells your brain, hey, I can do this. The environment is safe. It releases a tiny bit of dopamine.
And those small wins are the actual building blocks of massive confidence.
Exactly. You are systematically overwriting the threat response.
But, okay, let's be realistic. What happens when you attempt one of these small wins, maybe on day 5 or 6, and you actually do mess up the grammar, use the wrong tense, and sound a bit foolish?
Well, this brings us to technique 3, which is a massive mindset shift. We need to redefine success.
Connection over perfection.
Yes. Most learners define success as having perfect grammar and 0 mistakes, and the guide points out that this definition is entirely wrong.
Completely backwards. Success simply means being understood. The source gives this exact example that I love. It's the sentence, yesterday I go to store.
Ah, yes, a classic.
Right. So, as our resident language expert, I want you to grade that sentence for me. Yesterday I go to store.
Okay, well, grammatically it's a failure. Go should be went, and it's missing the word the before store. A strict teacher would cover that in red ink.
But communicatively.
Communicatively, it is 100% successful.
Because everyone knows exactly what you mean.
Exactly. You establish the time frame, the subject, and the destination. The core idea transferred perfectly from your brain to mine.
And that is the big takeaway here. Every single mistake is just proof that you are trying. The author of the source material actually admits to making wrong word mistakes every single day in their second language.
And the result isn't mockery.
No, it's usually just laughing together and moving on. The true goal of language is connection, not grammatical perfection.
Which is such a liberating way to look at it.
Totally. But even with this great mindset, there will inevitably be moments where the pressure gets to you and you just completely freeze.
It happens to everyone.
Right? So what is the tactical parachute for those moments?
That is technique 4, emergency phrases.
I love this concept.
It's what to do when your mind inevitably goes blank. And the number one rule is, do not panic. Use these emergency phrases to buy yourself some time.
The guide lists some really great specific lifelines for this. Phrases like, how do you say this in English?
Or what is the word for it?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot the word. Or my personal favorite. Let me explain another way.
That last one is so good.
It's brilliant because these phrases instantly show the other person that you are trying. It breaks the tension.
It shatters that rigid performance dynamic we were talking about earlier. You're bringing them onto your team to help you.
Exactly. It's an invitation to collaborate.
And honestly, native speakers use these exact concepts all the time in their own language.
Oh, totally. I forget words in English daily.
Right. Forgetting a word is a normal human experience. It is not a language learning failure.
Mm-hmm.
By using these phrases, you're actually communicating in a much more authentic, natural way.
So true. Okay, this has been an incredibly enlightening deep dive. Let's do a quick recap of the journey we've been on today.
Sounds good.
First, we recognize that the intense fear of judgment is largely an illusion, that spotlight effect.
Right. Native speakers just want to connect, not grade your grammar.
Then we talked about practicing alone in safe spaces to build that physical familiarity with the sounds.
Getting the biomechanics down before you add social pressure.
Exactly. Then, stepping out into the world with micro-exposures, starting with tiny day-by-day wins so you don't overwhelm your nervous system.
Claiming those dopamine hits.
Yes. And of course, redefining success. Remember, connection is always more important than grammatical perfection.
And finally, keeping those emergency phrases right in your back pocket for when things go blank.
So to you, the listener, we're going to assign you the specific homework straight from the source material.
Oh yes, your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Today, your homework is to say just one sentence out loud to yourself in English.
Just one.
Just one. It can be about the weather, it can be about your food or your feelings. Just say it in an empty room or in your car.
Get those mouth muscles moving.
Then tomorrow, say that exact same sentence to someone else. It could be a friend, a family member, or even a pet if you're really nervous. Claim your first small win.
I love that. And just remember, feeling fear isn't the enemy here. It just means that you care.
It means you care about connecting. Which actually leaves me with a final provocative thought for you to ponder.
Let's hear it.
If our intense fear of speaking a new language is largely based on this projected fear of judgment, a critic that doesn't actually exist in the real world, well, in what other areas of your life are you staying completely silent just to appease an imaginary critic?
Ooh, that is a powerful question.
Something to think about as you go through your week. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We really appreciate you spending your time with us.
Yes, thank you for tuning in.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We've got a lot more great stuff coming your way. Until then, keep speaking English for you.